Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this amazing episode of Tech Hub, your one-stop platform for all things tech in Africa. My name is Mercy Frank. Always glad to come talk about technology to you. Now, we are outside, and the Inclusion Hub by Project Enable is our host for today. I'm absolutely happy to tell you stories about how people living with disabilities are using technology to make their lives better. It's going to be a very interesting story that will keep you glued to your seat. But first, let's give you the Tech Hub Global Update for the week. How much of technology do you understand?
I took a look at my LinkedIn and they said they didn't see, I can't forget the words, evidence of your work.
On Tech Hub, we help you understand how tech can impact your life.
Your phone and your SIM card is going to be a bigger asset.
With the power that we have with social media, with the digital space right now, you can be anything you want to be.
One of the other things we would see is that people would have more faith in tech companies.
And how much you can, through tech, impact your community.
The people who watch my videos, the people who see me and see what I represent, those are the people that I'm online.
Tech Hub is your one-stop platform for all things technology in Africa.
Tech Hub, for a smarter you. Tech Hub, for a smarter you. According to a survey in 2022, about 31 million people in Nigeria are living with one form of disability or the other. And in Lagos State, with about 22 million of the population, the figure is pegged at 10%. And this means 1 in every 2,200,000 people is living with disability in the state. This seems like a drop in the ocean, which explains why they are seemingly neglected and sometimes given inhumane treatment all around the communities. But some people are willing and making moves to change this narrative. And that's why they defied the early morning heavy downpour in Lagos to come to the Inclusion Hub to learn. Come with me. This could look like an office with members of staff holding a Monday meeting. But on a closer look, you'll see differently. People living with different forms of disability, learning with technology as the focus. The coach for the day is Lanre Olagunju, the communications lead at Project Enable Africa.
There's a part of communication that even starts by just that.
It's time to know those people and how tech is making them thrive. Let's meet Eucharia. She might not be described by many as a physically challenged individual, but the challenge in mobility is a cross she has to bear for long. She takes charge of her life thanks to technology.
When I was actually born, and when my parents noticed my disability status, so they kind of didn't understand. So they were taking me from one place to the other, especially the spiritual aspect of it. So they thought it was a spiritual thing. So along the line, there was no solution coming from that end. But there was a time, like my father used to work with the white people then. That was so then, according to my mother, that was what she told me later. She now said the white people volunteered to take me with them when they noticed my disability. Then I was still very young. But unfortunately, then my mom had only my elder brother. After my elder brother, it took her 7 years before she now got me. So when the white people volunteered to take me with them abroad for an operation, because then I was still young and the bones are still tender. So my mom refused. No, it was out of ignorance. They were not all that educated. So it was when she was later telling me, I felt so bad. I can remember when I was in primary school then, when I was playing with my fellow kids, there will kind of discrimination, and then they will be calling me names like hunchback, abuke, all those kind of things. So then our teachers will be cautioning them. Whenever they make that statement, our teachers then will punish them. So that kind of thing. So that made me to, because personally I'm a very extrovert somebody. I like mixing with people. I like making jokes. But because due to my physical challenge, I find that it's not everybody that would be your friend. When it comes to work, in the workplace, I've never actually felt any discrimination.
So the same treatment they give to every other person
They give to me, yes. But it's during maybe personal friendship and all those kind of things when you see the discrimination. Some people might not really want to identify with you because of your physical challenge, and also because of my disability. There are a lot of things I missed. Like for example, I love fashion. I love wearing fashionable things, but because of the way my body is, I couldn't put on most of the things I like. But so some people will see me as old-fashioned. They will not know that I know how far, but just because of my physical challenge. So I didn't have actual access to the computer. So that made me to see computer as something I cannot. Will I ever actually be able to practice this computer stuff? So I was really afraid of touching computers and all this stuff. I didn't know how to start. I was afraid because I know I'm not a computer savvy somebody, and I've never actually worked with computer, but I know the theoretical part, but the practical aspect I've not actually. So when I started, it was just like that. And coming here has been very helpful to me because whenever I'm working here, if there are some things I don't know, I will ask the staff and they will put me through. So I do a lot of things. I upload documents on supplier app, taking their documents, upload and tell them the required documents to send, and I will check them, approve them, and send them to my superiors.
So how do you feel technology has made your life better?
I feel so superb. Like I'm so happy. I'm glad that I can handle computer. So government should be more inclusive. They should kind of reach out to the organizations to at least be able to give us a chance. We have abilities, but because of our physical challenge, most people just think that maybe we are useless. Maybe we cannot add any value to the society. Meanwhile, we can. Like you can see now that I'm adding value.
You actually added value.
Daniel is always happy to express his creativity. He probably wouldn't have been able to live to his full potential if he hadn't gotten digital skills.
For me to accept my kind of person, that this is who I am, it took me a lot of time and a bowl of confidence. I got to realize that I am of this sort at the age of probably, let's say, 16 or thereabout, that I got to feel that I am physically challenged. Growing up, going to school, it happened that I am the only person living with disability in the whole of, let's say from my primary school to my secondary school to getting to higher institution, in the whole department. Yeah, I think I have someone as well, also someone like me, but it's before then, it's kind of a look difficult for me to move about. I will have to wait for someone to help me cross the road and all of that. And in class sometimes, getting to class, I might be a bit late to class, and sometimes the teacher or lecturer might feel like, oh, you should have been here earlier. Or, knowing that I'm going through this kind of challenge, and transportation aspect, it has been stressful. You could talk about the ban on the Okada. It has an impact on us as well. It has a great impact on us, and moving has been so difficult. It take a toll on our health. Me in particular, I take a toll on my health, that even it deter my output at work, and it's also that results to emotional distress as well, because I I kind of look down on myself because I'm not giving the best of myself, because all of this stress has been piled up and I could not really do what I wanted to do. It has been an enlightening season for me, especially from last year up until this moment. I've been able to garner a lot of experience in technology aspects, in digital aspects, and it has been an eye-opening for me. I've been able to know how to use the digital space. I do graphics design, and we actually did an entrepreneur a project here, and we were taught how to use the digital as a space like Facebook, WhatsApp, all of that, on how to you know on how to give out a proper information on what we are selling, on so that people can as well get to know that this is what we are doing. And I've been able to make use of that very well, and it has added up to my input of my earnings. Before I learned about technology, it was so difficult for me to get jobs and let people to know what I do. And technology has really helped people to see what we do and who we are. I design with Canva Online, even with my phone. So most times I can design on my phone even when there's when there's no power supply. So technology has been a help to a whole lot of us.
I like the way you're smiling when you talk about technology being help. Really, sincerely speaking, it's such a beautiful thing.
We are in the era of tech, and we have to move with that pace.
On a casual look at Idowu, you wouldn't know she is visually impaired. She begins by telling us what she went through when her life took a drastic turn for the worse.
Started when I was in SS1. I was ill. I had typhoid fever. So after the treatment, that was when my sight started deteriorating. It was really challenging because I really did not know how to go about my life. I thought my life was over at a point. But later when I was told that I can still be whatever I want to be in life, I was introduced to a school where I did rehabilitation. I saw people like myself there also doing the same thing, because I had my challenge when I was in secondary school in SS2, so I know a bit of how to write with biro. I know the difference. So going now to learn Braille was like a whole lot of challenge for me. In fact, the first day I saw a Braille book, I was scared, like, how will I learn this thing? Will I be able to cope like that and all that? But then when I see people, even people younger than I am in this school, cope and they are doing this, I just brace up myself and said, I can do this as well. So I opened up myself to learn everything I need to, so that I can go back to secondary school to continue from where I stopped. So in the university, I write in Braille. Just not in all the classes though, because some lecturers might be a bit too fast, so I cannot really follow. So what I do, I got a recorder, a digital recorder. I get someone to help me read my notes. So I record, then I replay later. Then for my exams and tests, I type my answers. Before knowing how to use the technology, I have to depend on someone to help me read and do stuff. But right now, since I can use the computer myself, it's something I can do without waiting or depend on someone to help me. It's a regular computer that every other person uses, but it's just that I had to install a screen reader software called JAWS, which enables me to use it. It reads everything on the screen. So anything I'm doing on the computer, it speaks back to me. So with that, I'll be able to navigate my way around the computer. I've learned a whole lot of skills from projects enabled apart from just using computer. Okay, the first one I did was in digital marketing. That was how after the training, that was when I started my proofreading and editing job.
So what are your words for people who are like you, who are still down in the dumps and thinking, hey, I like my vision? And for the government to,
They just need to speak to the right person so they can get the right support, and then they can also fit into the society and be whatever they want to be. Then for the government, I would advise that they should please provide assistive devices for most of our challenged persons, especially the visually impaired. Most of them, they really are not able to get a placement when it comes to employment because they don't provide assistive devices which will help them to carry out their duty effectively in the workplace. So if they can provide these things for us, I think it will go a long way for us to be useful.
The people who put in all efforts to ensure this proverbial rejected cornerstones get back to their lives tell their tales. Some vicious, some victorious. Ngozi is one of them.
Apart from the fact that I'm a visually impaired person myself, so I understand what persons with disability, the stress, the troubles, the discrimination persons with disability face, and I'm in an opportunity or that privilege to help other persons with disability. So that's why I enjoy what I do for the disability community, which I'm also a member. For the past 8 years, we've been able to train over 5,000 persons with disability with tech skill, with 24-edge cutting technology and techniques that will help them be valuable in the society and also be able to compete with their counterparts who, in quotes, are able bodies. So we work with different clusters, work with the blind, the deaf, that's those with hearing impairment. We work with physically challenged, mobility impaired, and a couple of cerebral palsy, and a couple of persons with disability as well. We use all our tools to run our trainings. We train them on these digital skills, like our hub and everything. So we ensure that they make use of assistive technologies to even make their life better. Like for the blind, can operate their computers with the use of softwares that will help them out. We also have the text to speech for the deaf. So and also with COVID and the aftermath of COVID, we had to also switch to virtual. So we run all our events via Zoom. We could have conversations, and we do not see to leave anybody, so no one is left behind.
Enabled by technology, we caught up with Shola, who is able-bodied but was out of town.
What were you thinking of that made you, take up this project yourself?
There was a lot of work. I had worked across health, gender and all, and I was bringing all of that experience to say, okay, there's a group of people that do need health intervention, that needs, gender mainstreaming and all. So, and then around that time, I also came across a crop of persons with disabilities around the National Stadium. And for me at that point, it was, yes, disability was now visible, because one fact you should realize is for many people, disability is not visible. They don't see persons with disabilities around, apart from the beggars, and the perception we used to see beggars with disability is just from the charity model, where we should just give them money and all. But the work that we do is bringing persons with disability not just as object of charity, but as persons who needs to be empowered, and then who can participate equally like you and I in the society. So I remember in the early years of Just Enable Africa, we did a lot of skill empowerment, employability, and all. But it got to a point where we realized that the disabling factor is not necessarily the impairment of persons with disabilities. Impairment that persons with disabilities have is different totally from the disability, which is usually a function of the society. Because then we trained and equipped persons with disabilities with skills, but people do not patronize them. They are not able to sell their product or interact. So we thought, okay, there is internet, there is digital skills. And the good thing is behind technology, it doesn't matter if you're disabled or not. What matters is that you are able to provide the skills you have. And that's a huge opportunity that technology gives or affords us all. So at that point, we literally pivoted to equipping persons with disabilities with ICT skills. After all, this is the 21st century. Everything is driven and everything revolves around disability. We are talking about the digital economy, which doesn't really take, where disability really doesn't matter. Why we deal and advocate for an inclusive society. We can as well equip persons with disabilities with technological skills such that they can go to school from wherever they are online, they can access job opportunities, they can work. And that has been very successful. Since 2017 that we took that step, we set up the Disability Inclusion Hub in our office, which is like the first of its kind, a disability-focused technological hub where persons with disabilities can acquire practical skills in things like coding, in things like graphic design, social media, using social media to promote business. And from then, we've trained well over 3,000 persons with disabilities in various skills. But more importantly is that we have connected at least a third of them to internship opportunities. So they're not just acquiring skills, we're able to place them in job roles with organizations where they can work for at least 1 month, 2 months and gain experience. And for many of those people, it becomes a discovery for them to know what they can do, to find their purpose, how they can contribute to the society while making decent income. For many of them, they decide to go back to school. For many of them, they decide to run their businesses. And even for those who decide to run their businesses, we have business support programs to help them start, to help them learn the basics of running businesses, position them for funding, and that has been really successful. So since 2020, we've connected well over 300 persons with disabilities to jobs, and we have 60% retention rates for those we have connected to jobs. It's huge to see persons with disabilities now penetrating these spaces, and we are looking to work more with various sectors, because when persons with disabilities can earn income, acquiring skills is important, but it's not the end, it's a means. When they can earn decent income, they will make better choices, they would lead their family better, and then they are able to look beyond their own disability and see how they can help other persons with disabilities.
I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. Great job that you're doing, enabling these people to become self-sufficient. But I'm wondering what challenges you went through introducing technology to them and them adopting, embracing technology as well to scale up whatever it is you're doing.
When we started this work was when I realized that there are two levels of discrimination. There's a discrimination from the outside community of persons with disabilities, the society in general, against persons with disabilities, where the society do not think that persons with disabilities have the capacity to contribute productively. The other challenge, however, is, I think, even bigger, and that's the intra-community discrimination. And that's an attitude that started because of the various form of challenges and vulnerability that the community has gone through. And that one is bigger because you're trying to empower a person with disability, and they literally just believe in the charity model. They want you to give them money and set them up. And then we are here telling them that that would not help you. We can give you some money, but it should finish. Why don't you acquire skills and all? That was a big challenge in the early days, but I think over the years that is improving.
Tech Hub for a smarter you.
Technology is an enabler and can in so many ways improve and better the lives of persons living with abilities if harnessed properly. Now, what they're asking for is a proper implementation of policies connected to SDG Goal 10, which strives to reduce inequality and promote social, political, and economic inclusion for all, especially people living with disabilities.
And how much you can, through tech, impact your community.
The people who watch my videos, the people who see me and see what I represent, those are the people that I'm online.
Tech Hub is your one-stop platform for all things technology in Africa.
Tech Hub for a smarter you.
This is where we're going to put a stop to the conversation for today. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. My name is Mercy Frankas, and as I always say, for me and my crew, keep innovating.